This is a dinosaur footprint made 166 million years ago. And so far, 200 prints have been found in a quarry in Oxfordshire.
Scientists have uncovered something in South America that stunned even the most seasoned experts. Thousands of dinosaur footprints left by predators, giants, and creatures no one expected have emerged from an ancient shoreline, revealing a world frozen in motion. These tracks don't just confirm dinosaur activity, they expose behaviors and patterns that bones alone could never reveal. What researchers found at this site left them speechless, not because it was strange, but because it opened a door to a chapter of prehistory no one realized existed. And one discovery hidden among the footprints raises a question scientists are still trying to answer. The day the Earth spoke. When paleontologists arrived in Bolivia's Toro Toro National Park, none of them expected the land beneath their feet to reveal one of the greatest paleontological discoveries of the decade. The Carreras Pampa track site had long been known to contain scattered dinosaur footprints, but what scientists uncovered during the latest research stunned even the most seasoned experts. After carefully sweeping away layers of sediment and debris, they found not dozens or hundreds, but tens of thousands of remarkably preserved tracks, an ancient story written directly into the earth. The scale of the discovery was staggering. According to the newly published study in PLOS1, scientists located nearly 18,000 individual dinosaur tracks, including 16,600 footprints, 1,378 swim tracks, and several rare tail drag impressions. This concentration makes Carreras Pampa one of the most footprint-rich sites on the planet and the world's leading location for preserved continuous dinosaur swim trackways. No other known site contains this combination of clarity, variety, and density. The landscape itself offered clues to an ancient world long vanished. Millions of years ago, Carreras Pampa was not a dry plateau, but a sprawling coastal plain at the edge of a shallow sea. Ripple marks, still preserved in the sediment, reveal steady northwest-southeast wave patterns, indicating the direction of water flow and hinting at how dinosaurs once navigated the shoreline. These natural markings formed the perfect canvas, capturing every step, scratch, and slip made by the creatures that once dominated the Cretaceous Earth. As researchers cleared more sediment, they began to see a story unfolding beneath the dust. Dinosaurs walking, running, hesitating, turning sharply, and even dragging their tails. Some trackways showed sudden shifts in direction, perhaps when a predator appeared or when herd members changed course. Others revealed peaceful movement, steady and rhythmic, suggesting migration or regular shoreline travel. What truly amazed scientists, however, were the swim tracks. Unlike typical isolated prints found at other sites, the swim marks at Carreras Pampa appeared in long, alternating sequences. Each mark represented a dinosaur lightly touching the seafloor with the tip of its middle toe while swimming, producing curved or comma-shaped grooves. This was some of the clearest behavioral evidence ever recorded of large theropods attempting to move through deeper water. The excellent preservation of these tracks allowed researchers to study not just dinosaur presence, but dinosaur behavior, a rare insight into creatures that usually leave only bones behind. These impressions captured the exact moments when massive animals transitioned between land and water, revealing details about their balance, gait, and motion. For scientists accustomed to incomplete fossils and fragmentary clues, this site felt like a direct message from the past, an ancient record preserved with extraordinary precision. And the deeper they looked, the more that message expanded, hinting at the types of dinosaurs that walked this prehistoric coastline. But the real shock came when researchers identified who these thousands of tracks belonged to and what that revealed about South America's ancient ecosystem. The Lost Highway Beneath the Waves. What paleontologists uncovered at Carreras Pampa was far more than scattered impressions. It was the remains of a busy route used by countless dinosaurs over long stretches of time. Spread across more than 80,500 square feet, the dense web of footprints revealed that this ancient shoreline acted as a major travel corridor. Species of different sizes and habits repeatedly crossed the same ground, leaving behind a layered record of movement. Each track became a puzzle piece, giving scientists rare insight into how dinosaurs navigated, socialized, and survived along this forgotten coast. Patterns carved into the rock showed a clear and consistent directional flow. Ripple formations running northwest to southeast matched the alignment of the prints, indicating that both walkers and swimmers followed the shoreline's natural contours. This was no random scattering of tracks, it was a structured pathway. Some animals moved with precision, others meandered or swerved sharply, perhaps reacting to predators, shifting tides, or the dynamics of traveling groups. Most footprints belong to theropods, the two-legged carnivores that dominated the region during the Cretaceous. Mid-sized hunters similar to Dilophosaurus and Allosaurus left tracks exceeding 12 inches long. Their confident strides pressed deep into the mud. Although massive apex predators like T-Rex or Gigantosaurus, known for footprints over 16 inches, did not appear here, the variety of theropod sizes showed a thriving population of agile predators working the coastline. Concealed in the midst of the large dinosaur impressions were extremely small footprints that were less than 4 inches long, a rare case in the dinosaur track records. Paleontologists suggest that these tiny footprints could be either caused by small-bodied early dinosaurs similar to Colophysis type, or the young ones of the great predators. Their presence could signify family units, teaching toddlers or mixed-age herds wandering together, thus giving rare behavioral evidence that is usually lost in the process of fossilization. The conveyor of the swim tracks that were equally incredible was the long, alternating sequences in which they were preserved. The said grooves were made when the theropods glided over the seabed with their middle toes, and hence the animals were revealed to not only walk, but also swim. Carreras Pampa is now the place with the highest number of continuous dinosaur swim trackways in the world, thus offering a rare glimpse of how these prehistoric beings adjusted to changing tides and water levels. In addition, other marks were present that made the story more vivid. The dragging of the tail, sharp turns, and fluctuations in the depth of the track represented a lively landscape. The shallow prints pointed to more solid surfaces, while the deeper ones inferred heavy footfalls into thick mud. Thus, the scientists could determine even the speed and the weight of the animal. The communication between the animals was thus preserved in time, as every trace marked a moment lived long ago. The site was of even greater importance because of the recognition by the researchers of the different types of animals that used this route. Their paths were crossed by giant long-necked dinosaurs, meat-eaters, and primitive birds, which together claimed the shore as a ground for a living mosaic. The entire panorama of life depicted a rather difficult, but not impossible to understand coastal ecosystem. What scientists managed to uncover was nothing less than a rare snapshot of the day-to-day activities of living organisms more than 100 million years ago, fossilized in stone forever. And as researchers looked closer, another revelation emerged. Many of these dinosaurs were not just walking, but swimming. Unmasking the prehistoric trail walkers. Once researchers grasped the overwhelming number of tracks at Carreras Pampa, their next challenge was determining which animals created them. Identifying the track makers required far more than measuring footprint length. Scientists studied claw curvature, pressure distribution, stride rhythm, and sediment distortion to link each impression to a specific type of dinosaur. What emerged was a detailed picture of a coastal community made up of mid-sized predators, small, swift runners, early birds, and occasional herbivores, all leaving signatures rarely preserved elsewhere. Theropod prints dominated the landscape, yet they varied widely. Some showed long, narrow toes with sharply curved tips, marks of quick, agile hunters. Others had thicker digits and deeper pressure points, indicating more muscular carnivores with heavier steps. Details such as toe spread, heel drag, and stride spacing allowed scientists to distinguish not only species types, but also how confidently or cautiously an animal was moving across the muddy flats. What researchers didn't find was equally revealing. No tracks matched the proportions of the massive apex predators known from other regions. Instead, Carreras pampa appeared to have been home to medium-sized carnivores that were fast, adaptable, and likely shaped the local food web. Their presence and the absence of larger hunters helped define the ecological character of the region during the Cretaceous. One of the most striking discoveries came from tiny footprints under 4 inches long. Such small impressions are extremely rare, making them an important scientific clue. Paleontologists determined they were left either by genuinely small-bodied species or by juveniles of larger theropods. Their shallow depth and delicate outlines allowed researchers to study how lightweight dinosaurs moved, something almost impossible to infer from bones alone. Bird-like tracks added another dimension. Early avian species left thin, three-toed impressions with subtle asymmetry and pad structure that helped distinguish them from small, feathered dinosaurs. These prints confirmed that the shoreline supported both ground-running and airborne foragers, each exploiting different ecological niches. Broader, rounded impressions, likely belonging to sauropods or ankylosaurs, showed that herbivores also passed through the area, though less frequently. Their tracks suggested periodic shoreline use, perhaps during seasonal migrations or for accessing vegetation. Each print, large or small, sharp or rounded, acted like a biological fingerprint. From these clues, scientists reconstructed weight distribution, posture, limb motion, and even brief moments of hesitation or speed changes. Together, they revealed Carreras pampa as a thriving habitat where numerous species left behind personal traces of their daily lives. But as researchers traced a set of unusual impressions extending toward deeper water, they realized some of these trail walkers were more than land travelers. Several had ventured straight into the waves, leaving marks that revealed an entirely different form of movement. A snapshot of dinosaur behavior. Carreras pampa stands apart from every other dinosaur track site, not simply because of its scale, but because it captures a full spectrum of movement frozen in mud. While most fossil sites preserve isolated prints, this Bolivian treasure records entire sequences of behavior, revealing how dinosaurs walked, accelerated, faltered, turned sharply, dragged their tails, and even swam. It is one of the most vivid behavioral archives ever discovered from the age of dinosaurs. Walking tracks were the most plentiful. Thousands of impressions showed dinosaurs moving at deliberate, steady paces along the ancient shoreline. Their steps aligned with the flow of the paleocoastal current, supporting the idea of a long-used travel route. Deep prints reflected slow movement through soft terrain, while lighter impressions indicated firmer ground or smaller-bodied animals moving with greater ease. Running tracks added dramatic energy to the site. Long strides, deeper toe marks, and wider spacing between steps captured moments when dinosaurs broke into sprints, perhaps hunting, escaping threats, or racing across surfaces made unstable by tides or shifting sediments. These patterns allowed scientists to calculate approximate speeds and reconstruct real-time movement with surprising precision. Tail drag features offered another layer of insight. While many theropods held their tails aloft, some grooves showed contact with the ground, possibly from younger dinosaurs struggling to balance, tired individuals, or moments of sudden change in direction. These faint marks recorded fleeting motions rarely preserved elsewhere. The swim tracks were nevertheless the most extraordinary findings. Carreras Pampa has the highest number of dinosaur swimming trailways in the world. Continuous tracks made by paddling theropods are the longest among those discovered. These traces, which were sometimes straight and sometimes gently curved, were formed by the tips of their middle toes grinding the sea bottom as they swam. The underwater marks disclosed that the swimming behavior was under control. Dinosaurs gave an impression of moving in the water with a slow and steady rhythm, while their toes supported their bodies. Furthermore, some sequences even registered the transitions from walking to swimming and vice versa, demonstrating how dinosaurs managed to live with the changing water levels. The depth of the track all over the site gave more hints. The prints that were not deep at all indicated that the animal was stepping very gently on the surface, and the prints that became deeper slowly were either indicating the animal had accelerated or the heavy animal had sunk into soft mud. Changes along a single route showed the manner in which the dinosaurs were adapting to the changing situations with each of their steps. This unique collection of tracks has formed a lively picture of the past. The dinosaurs not only moved over this coast, they had contact with it, tried it, changed themselves upon it, and made a very comprehensive map of their behavior. But even the clearest behavioral records meant little without one crucial skill: learning how to read these tracks as if they were sentences written by creatures long gone. How scientists read ancient footprints. Interpreting dinosaur footprints is far more involved than identifying shapes in rock. At Carreras Pampa, where nearly 18,000 tracks blanket an ancient shoreline, scientists use geological mapping, biomechanics, and comparative anatomy to decode the movements of animals that lived more than 100 million years ago. Every print, deep or shallow, curved or straight, contained small clues about the dinosaur that made it, allowing researchers to reconstruct behavior step by step. The first task was mapping the ripple marks preserved alongside the tracks. These ripples, running northwest to southeast, revealed the direction of ancient currents. Because many footprints aligned with them, scientists concluded that dinosaurs often moved with or against these natural coastal flows. The shoreline itself functioned like a prehistoric guide, shaping how animals traveled. Next, researchers examined footprints by size and structure, comparing them to the known anatomy of theropods, sauropods, ankylosaurs, and early birds. Most prints were from theropods, recognizable by their three-toed impressions and narrow stride width. By studying toe angles, heel depth, and step spacing, scientists determined whether an animal walked, sped up, or shifted sharply. Even slight variations showed signs of pausing, limping, or reacting to changes in terrain. Track depth played a crucial role. Shallow prints indicated firm ground or lightweight animals, while deep impressions signaled heavier dinosaurs or rapid movement through soft mud. In many trackways, depth changed suddenly, revealing moments of hesitation, slipping, or sudden acceleration, rare snapshots of real-time motion frozen in stone. Swim tracks demanded a different method entirely. Long, alternating grooves shaped like commas showed theropods brushing the seafloor with their middle toes as they swam. Because the marks switched between left and right, they revealed coordinated paddling rather than random scraping. These sequences were so complete that scientists could determine swimming rhythm and technique, establishing Carreras Pampa as the richest site for continuous dinosaur swim trackways ever recorded. To locate hidden prints, paleontologists carefully removed sediment from cracked or uneven surfaces, areas that hinted at deeper layers. This revealed thousands of additional tracks, including rare footprints under 4 inches long from juveniles or small-bodied species seldom preserved elsewhere. Once exposed, the prints were photographed, digitally scanned, and converted into 3D models. These reconstructions allowed scientists to analyze gait, size, and weight distribution without damaging the site. The data helped match track patterns with known dinosaur behavior from the Cretaceous. Through this detailed work, scientists turned ancient impressions into moving scenes. Dinosaurs walking, running, turning, slipping, and swimming across a once living shoreline. And with the groundwork laid, the next question was inevitable. How did an entire landscape manage to preserve so much detail so perfectly for more than 100 million years? A breakthrough millions of years later. What stunned scientists most about Carreras Pampa was not just the volume of tracks, it was how a single landscape managed to preserve such extraordinary detail for over 100 million years. Footprints, swim marks, tail drags, and delicate impressions less than 4 inches wide were all frozen in time with almost impossible clarity. The question quickly shifted from what was found to how such fragile traces survived the forces of erosion, shifting continents, and countless geological cycles. The answer begins with the coastline itself. During the Cretaceous, Carreras Pampa existed as a muddy, shallow shoreline where fine sediment collected in thin, consistent layers. Each time a dinosaur stepped onto the surface, its weight pressed into the soft substrate. Moments later, new sediment washed in from tides or gentle waves, rapidly covering the impressions before wind or water could distort them. This cycle of step, bury, preserve acted like nature's own recording system. These layers eventually hardened into rock, sealing thousands of movements between laminae of sediment. Because the region remained geologically stable for millions of years, without intense folding or volcanic destruction, the trackways were protected beneath accumulating strata. When ancient mud became stone, even the faintest toe drag or water ripple was locked into place. Another crucial factor was the presence of ripple marks that ran in the same direction as many of the tracks. These ripples acted not only as an environmental context, but also as a stabilizing feature during preservation. Their alignment helped keep the sediment structure intact, allowing scientists today to distinguish minute differences in pressure, stride, and weight distribution. Equally important was the site's dryness after uplift. Once the region rose above sea level, erosion exposed the tracks slowly rather than wiping them away. Because Carreras Pampa lies in an area with minimal vegetation and limited rainfall, the rock face weathered just enough to reveal the impressions without destroying them. This combination of perfect timing, ideal sediment, rapid burial, geological calm, and gentle exposure explains how a fleeting moment in the life of a dinosaur became a permanent record. The preservation was not luck. It was a rare convergence of environmental conditions that acted like a natural time capsule. What emerged after millions of years was a detailed archive of motion. Dinosaurs walking, running, turning, and even swimming. And with this understanding of how the site survived, one truth became clear. Carreras Pampa is not just a fossil bed, it is a geological miracle, a preserved landscape that allows scientists to study behavior with a clarity once thought impossible. What scientists uncovered at Carreras Pampa is more than a discovery. It's a message from the past, preserved in thousands of tracks that reveal how dinosaurs lived, moved, and survived. Yet even with all we've learned, countless mysteries still lie beneath the surface, waiting to be found. If you enjoyed this exploration, like the video, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more incredible stories from science and history. And before you go, tap the video on your screen. The next discovery is just as stunning.